Hello, everyone, and welcome to today's episode. We're taking a journey through the fascinating history of one of the most influential companies in the gaming industry, Sega. From their meteoric rise during the golden age of console wars to their eventual exit from the hardware market, Sega's story is a tapestry of innovation, rivalry, brilliance, and, unfortunately, some critical missteps. Cast your minds back to the early 1990s. The gaming landscape was a battleground, with Sega and Nintendo locked in a fierce struggle for dominance. Sega burst onto the scene with the Genesis, known as the Mega Drive outside North America, offering gamers something bold and exciting. Titles like Sonic the Hedgehog and Streets of Rage weren't just games. Sonic, with his rebellious attitude and lightning-fast speed, became an instant icon, embodying the edgy counterpoint to Nintendo's more family-friendly Mario. Sega's marketing during this era was nothing short of revolutionary. Their audacious slogan, "Genesis does what Nintendo don't," wasn't just a clever play on words, it was a declaration of war. They positioned themselves as the cool, edgy alternative, capturing the hearts of teenagers and young adults who craved something different. As Tom Kalinske, the former CEO of Sega of America, once said, "We had to be disruptive. We had to be cooler than Nintendo and offer something they didn't." However, as the saying goes, pride comes before a fall. Sega's initial success led them to make a series of decisions that, in hindsight, signaled the beginning of their troubles. In an attempt to extend the life of the Genesis hardware, Sega introduced a series of add-ons, the Sega CD and the 32X. On paper, these devices were meant to enhance the gaming experience by providing better graphics and more immersive gameplay. The reality was quite different. Consumers were left confused by the fragmented hardware lineup. The Sega CD required the Genesis to operate, and the 32X was yet another attachment, leading to a cumbersome and expensive setup. Furthermore, the game libraries for these add-ons were lackluster. Few titles truly showcased the potential of the new hardware, and many felt like rushed projects. Critics and gamers alike saw these moves as cash grabs rather than genuine efforts to innovate. As gaming historian Blake J. Harris noted in his book Console Wars, the add-ons diluted Sega's brand and frustrated consumers who just wanted to play great games. This period reflected a potential loss of focus for Sega. Instead of concentrating on what had made them successful, delivering awesome games with a clear and compelling identity, they seemed to be chasing technological trends without a coherent strategy. The once strong bond between Sega and its audience began to weaken. Enter the Sega Saturn. Determined to outpace the looming threat of Sony's PlayStation, Sega rushed the Saturn's development and release. In an unexpected move during the first Electronic Entertainment Expo in 1995, Kalinske announced that the Saturn would be available immediately, months ahead of its scheduled launch. While this surprised both consumers and retailers, it backfired spectacularly. The Saturn's architecture was its Achilles heel. It featured a complex dual CPU design that was notoriously difficult to program for. Developers struggled to harness the hardware's capabilities, leading to a sparse library of quality games. Yu Suzuki, one of Sega's legendary game designers, once commented, "The Saturn was powerful, but its complexity was a nightmare for developers." Moreover, internal conflicts between Sega of America and Sega of Japan exacerbated the situation. The two branches had differing visions for the Saturn. Sega of America pushed for a more developer-friendly system, while Sega of Japan insisted on the intricate hardware that ultimately shipped. This discord led to inconsistent marketing messages and a fragmented approach to capturing the market. While Sega floundered, Sony seized the opportunity. The PlayStation was not only easier to develop for, but also boasted a robust lineup of third-party titles. Sony's aggressive marketing and strong relationships with developers quickly established them as a formidable force in the industry. Amidst these challenges, Sega pinned their hopes on one more console, the Dreamcast. Released in 1998 in Japan, In 1999 in North America, the Dreamcast was a technological marvel. It was the first console to include a built-in modem for online play, heralding the future of connected gaming. Games like Soul Calibur and Shenmue showcased the system's impressive capabilities and were critically acclaimed. However, the damage to Sega's reputation had already been done. Developers remained cautious after the Saturn's struggles, leading to limited third-party support for the Dreamcast. Sega's financial resources were stretched thin, making it difficult to compete with the massive marketing budgets of Sony and the impending juggernaut, Microsoft's Xbox. In a market that was becoming increasingly crowded and competitive, the Dreamcast, despite its innovations, couldn't gain the traction it needed. In 2001, Sega announced that they would cease production of the Dreamcast and exit the console manufacturing business altogether. It was the end of an era. But let's not let Sega's story end on a somber note. Their contributions to gaming are indelible. Sega was a pioneer that pushed boundaries and wasn't afraid to take risks. They introduced us to unforgettable characters and franchises. Golden Axe transported players to a medieval fantasy world of magic and combat. Phantasy Star was one of the earliest console role-playing games to embrace a science fiction setting, influencing countless RPGs that followed. Sega's approach to marketing wasn't just about selling games. It was about cultivating a lifestyle and an attitude. Their campaigns were bold, unapologetic, and resonated with a generation looking for something different. The impact of slogans like "Welcome to the Next Level" extended beyond advertising. They encapsulated the spirit of innovation and progress that Sega strived for. Even after leaving the hardware business, Sega continued to develop games that carried on their legacy. Series like Yakuza and continuations of the Sonic franchise kept the brand alive and introduced new audiences to Sega's creativity. Looking back, it's clear that Sega's journey was filled with as much triumph as it was with setbacks. Their willingness to experiment led to both their greatest successes and their most significant failures. Yet, it's that very spirit of experimentation that has left a lasting imprint on the industry. In recent years, there's been speculation and hope among fans that Sega might one day return to console manufacturing. While there's no concrete evidence to suggest this is on the horizon, the mere possibility ignites excitement. After all, the gaming world thrives on innovation and competition. Who wouldn't want to see Sega enter the fray once more, bringing fresh ideas and challenging the status quo? In conclusion, Sega's story is a testament to the volatile nature of the video game industry, a realm where technological advancements, market dynamics, and consumer preferences can shift rapidly. It's a reminder that even giants can stumble, but their influence can endure long after they've left the spotlight. As we enjoy today's gaming landscape, we owe a nod of appreciation to Sega for their role in shaping the adventures we embark upon today. Thank you for joining me in this exploration of Sega's rich history. Until next time, keep playing and stay curious.